We are again back to focusing on Brian Tracy's power of personal achievement. We are continuing that. Today, we are going to be looking at what is self-concept and how to change our self-concept. So we have briefly looked at self-concept a few sessions ago. We will revisit it just now. So the self-concept that we say has three components in it. One is the self-ideal. Second is our self-image. And third is our self-esteem. We will look at each of these and how they are interestingly connected. It's very, very interesting how they are connected. And I want you to pay attention to that because it will be unconsciously we are going through these processes in our life. Now we can consciously apply it so that we can make it a positive growth for ourselves. So what is self-ideal? So I'll just go back. Self-concept is consisting of three components: self-ideal, self-image, and self-esteem. So let's look at your self-ideal. So self-ideal is the combination of all the qualities of all men and women that we have admired in our life. See, there are so many people in our, right from our childhood till now, who have influenced us, whom we see as role models in for multiple levels, multiple areas. We will see different people as role models. It's a combination of those qualities is our self-ideal. That means it is something that we are aspiring to become like, we are trying to achieve. So when you read the stories of worthy men and women who have done wonderful things in their life, it could be Edison, Marie Curie, Mother Teresa, Abdul Kalam, Mahatma Gandhi, anybody. It could be sports persons, it could be anybody. And then we begin to think ourselves, I would like to be, when the situation comes up, when a certain situation arises, can I be like them? Okay, that feeling when it comes, that is like we are creating a certain self-ideal. And when we start thinking like this, that, can I be like this? I would like to be that way. Then you form a higher, better, clarified ideal. That means right now, relative to where you are saying that that is where I would like to be. That is how I would like to be. That is the quality I would like to achieve. So this particular, whatever structure that we develop or set of qualities that we identify becomes our internal role model. And see, this we may not be conscious about, but all of us at different levels, we have this thing inside of us. We have certain ideals that we would like to achieve, the kind of people we would like to be. Now, it's very interesting. There is always this dynamic tension between right now where we are as a person and the person that we would like to be. There is always that ongoing conflict is there. That tension will be going on. So, somebody who thinks that, oh, right now the way I am is perfectly fine, then there is no scope for improvement for them at all. But for most of us, we are always having this. There is a certain ideal that we would like to reach. And the people who are already set, they say that, okay, the way I am is like I'm already there. I'm like a perfect person. Such people are also not very admirable. See, the people whom we admire are people who have a high self-ideal, people who are striving to become much better than what they are. These are the people whom we also tend to admire. So any admirable person, you just look at it. Anybody that you see whom you admire will have this thinking that I can be much better than what I am today. They will have this quality in them. They will be striving in their own way to get much better than what they are. Okay. And will always compare themselves to a higher standard. There will always be such people, and those are the people whom we really admire. So remember that there is always this dynamic tension. So when we admire such people, we are also having an unconscious tendency to become more like them. That's what we are striving towards. This is a very unconscious process. In the process of this conversation that we are having, we want to make it a conscious process. So it is very important to think and talk about people that you admire. See, this is something, that's why, we say that, read biographies, read things that are inspiring. Why is it that we are saying that? Because we want to continuously be in a mode where we are striving to become much better than what we are right now. Okay. Now there is a catch. Unfortunately, for the younger generation today, many of their role models are all movie stars, rock stars. These are the kind of people who are role models for them. And unfortunately, these kind of people have a terrible, what shall I say, their way of life, their quality of life. So many things are not okay. Some of them may be into drugs, some of them, alcohol, or, very, very unhealthy kind of life that they are leading. And these are the people whom our young children are looking at as role models. So it is not the best of role models. So, I mean, this is something that we need to keep in mind as to whether we can inspire our children to look at somebody much better or somebody different as role model. So, W. Somerset Maugham, all of us, I'm sure, have heard of W. Somerset Maugham. He's a very, of course, an old-time author, a very wonderful author. So this is what he said. I write. He's talking about his writing. He is an author himself. I write to earn the respect of those whom I respect. And this is something that we are always trying to do. We want to earn the respect of somebody whom we respect. We want them to respect us. And then we feel really good that, hey, this person whom I am admiring or whom I am respecting is saying that I am fantastic. That means a lot to us. So that's what W. Somerset Maugham said. I write, his writing is to earn the respect of those whom he respects. We are also doing this. We want to earn the respect of those whom we respect. Right? And remember, for achieving this, we will go through a lot of effort and sacrifice so that we do not lose the respect of somebody whose respect we value. We are doing this unconsciously. I want each of you to just consciously look at it. We go through a lot of effort and sacrifice not to lose the respect of someone whom we think, we respect that person. In their eyes, we want to look good. So it is very important to think about, who do I really respect? This is something worth pondering over. Okay. And the second question to think over is, what should I do or what should I not do to keep his or her respect? That means I should be worthy in their eyes. What should I do? Now, the beautiful thing is this. For example, let us suppose we feel Mahatma Gandhi as an ideal person. Let us suppose I'm personally inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. Now, of course, now there is no question of knowing him also. But even if we were at a time when he was alive, we don't necessarily need to know them. Okay. So even if we were living at a time when it was Gandhiji's time, we don't need to know them personally. It is just that we need to have a mental mindset where we say that what do I do or what do I not do to keep that person's respect. Just having this attitude will automatically make us move towards improving our self ideal. Now, here's something interesting I want you to see. There is a very interesting connection between our self image and self esteem. We said there are three components: one is self ideal, self image, and self esteem. Okay. Now, what is self image? Self image is how we see yourself right now. Okay. So, right now, the way we see ourselves is our self image, and our self ideal is how we would like to see ourselves, ideally, how we would like to see ourselves. So, the self image and self esteem is how much we like ourselves. Okay. There is a very, very interesting connection. Just watch this carefully or follow this carefully. Suppose our self image is right now here. Okay. This is you as you see yourself today. Your self image is here. And your self ideal, of course, is much higher. Okay. That is the ideal person that you could be. how you would like to see yourself. Ideally, how would you like to be, right? Now, as we said, there is always the dynamic tension between the self-image and the self-ideal. The self-image is trying to go closer and closer to the self-ideal. And in between, what is happening? There are actions that we are taking in the present. That means as of today, there are certain actions that we take which is aligned with the person. That means if you take actions in the present that is aligned with your self-ideal, then this gap becomes less. That means your self-image gets closer and closer to the self-ideal. Okay. In other words, the self-esteem will start going up. Okay. But if in the short term we take actions that are moving us away from the person we would like to be, that is our self-ideal, then our self-esteem will go down. See this connection. I want you to just understand this connection, because this self-esteem is the way, see, how we experience our life, how happy we feel, how joyous we feel is completely connected to self-esteem. And the self-esteem going up or going down is depending upon the actions that we take on a daily basis and whether it is taking closer to our self-ideal or away from our self-ideal. So now the important, interesting thing is this, that successful people are always adjusting their behavior with, that means right now, this is where they are. They are always trying to move towards this. This is what successful people always do, that they are trying to go closer and closer to this, and therefore they are building their self-esteem. The self-esteem keeps going higher and higher. Okay. So every time you do things that are consistent with how you would like to be, then you like yourself more and you respect yourself more, and therefore your self-esteem will go up. So a very, very simple formula. If you want your self-esteem to go up, if you want to feel like, wow, what a wonderful person I am, I mean, you feel so nice about yourself, what you need to do is that you start taking actions on a day-to-day basis, which is taking you closer and closer to the ideal person that you would like to be. This is a very, very simple formula. And the more you keep repeating yourself, as you keep repeating this action, that means you keep taking actions which are consistent to taking you closer to your self-ideal, that repeated action will become a habit. See how are habits formed? It is just repeating a same kind of action pattern multiple times. See, today, if there is a certain habit that we feel we are stuck in, it is that habit is because we have repeated a certain set of things multiple times, and right now that's the way it is, right? If you want to change it, start doing something different multiple times, and you will get closer to what you would like to be, right? So keeping on repeating the actions that you would like to do, which is consistent with your self-ideal, is a way to build habits to building your self-esteem. So as we said, there is this dynamic tension going on between the self-ideal and the self-image. And this gap is deciding your self-esteem. Remember this. The smaller the gap, the more the self-esteem. The larger the gap, the less your self-esteem. Very simple. So when we are taking it closer and closer to that, self-esteem is going up. And when you are taking it away from your self-image, away from your self-ideal, self-esteem goes down. So when somebody compliments you, okay, and that is consistent with you being a better person, okay, then automatically you really feel that you're moving towards your goal of your self-ideal. Just think of it. Whenever somebody compliments you, you have taken a certain action which is consistent with you being a better person, okay, and somebody notices this and they compliment you, then you really feel that you're moving towards the goal of your self-ideal. That means you're moving closer. That's the when you get this feeling, and your self-esteem will go up. Now the stages, so all these three together, remember, the self image, the self ideal, and the self esteem are together making our self concept. So what are the steps to changing our self concept? Let's look at it. before changing our self-concept, the first requirement is that first we must want to change it. If there is no wanting to change it, there is no question of changing it at all. So, before even changing the self-concept, you must want to change your self-concept. And the change, see, you must perceive the change as necessary and desirable. You must feel that there is a need for this change. Unless you see it, the change will not happen, and you will not experience a change in your self-concept. So, this change must be perceived by you as necessary and desirable to achieve your maximum potential. That means for you to perform better, for you to become a much better person, for you to become much more productive, you need to see that I need to make this change. Unless you are willing to see it, this change will not happen. This is step number one. And this is the primary motivating force that is going to drive you. So there is this person, author named Timothy Galway. He has written this book called The Inner Game of Tennis. Very interesting. Look at the title. It is saying The Inner Game of Tennis. Okay. So he is talking about how to do certain things inside of you to become a better tennis player. Similarly, he's written another book called The Inner Game of Golf. Okay. So the next thing that you should do is to start thinking how you would like to be. That means that ideal that you have, no, that ideal person that you would like to be, begin thinking of yourself today as if today you're already that way. So, for example, if you want to be a successful tennis player, then you start imagining yourself as a world champion now, as if you're already a world champion. So, you start imagining what kind of, suppose you are that champion tennis player who's playing tennis right now and you're in the field. What are the mannerisms that they apply? What are the kind of things that they do? Okay, you start imitating them. And the interesting thing is that the moment you start applying those kind of mannerisms, your tennis performance will start improving. This is a very, very interesting observation. Just think that if this can happen with tennis, it can happen in every area of our life. That means if you want to be successful in any area of your life, start thinking about somebody who is already successful in that space and look at the kind of things he does and start imitating them. So basically, what happens is that the subconscious mind reorganizes itself because you're creating a new image of yourself. You're saying, I am the world class tennis player, I am that. You're already saying it. So the subconscious mind starts reorganizing it to make it consistent with this image. And in the process of the subconscious mind doing it, your game will start improving. Okay. I mean, this is, Brian Tracy talks very, very highly of this book and basically this whole attitude of this way of looking at things and doing things. Right. The next step, we have talked about it at multiple stages. Begin to visualize. One is you started thinking that, yes, I am already a tennis player. You've started taking physical actions consistent with that. Next is starting to visualize. Visualization, we have said it again and again and again, and I'm repeating it once more, is a very, very, very powerful tool that we have. Right now, you may not be where you want to be. Right now, you have not achieved that whatever peak that you want to achieve. But if you have a clear mental picture, this is the critical thing. Having a clear mental picture of what you want. If you have the clear mental picture and you start visualizing it, just repeatedly, what we are recommending is 3 times a day, consistently start visualizing your dreams and goals. Spend 10 minutes, shut your eyes, relax yourself, and start visualizing what is it that you would like to be, what is it that you would like to achieve, right? The important thing, as we are saying, is that the image must be clear, vivid, and exciting. It must excite you. Okay, it must be a clear picture, it must be vivid. So when we are saying, so let's if we look at it in terms of an example, let us suppose this is a very material example, but it's fine. Suppose it's a car that you want to buy, okay, a high-end car. a fantastic car that you want to buy, and right now you can't afford it, of course, but that is your one dream of yours, that you want to have that kind of a car. What we said, having a clear, vivid picture. So the steps are, first is like you have start identify which is the model, which is the company, which is the model, what is the color of the car, okay, what are the interiors going to be like, what are the going to be the fittings. Go and visit a car showroom and do a test drive, start experiencing it. Okay, these are the steps. So this kind of steps, whichever area you want to have, let's suppose it's a house that you want to buy, whatever it is, whatever dream that you may have, create clear, vivid, exciting pictures and practice visualization. Very, very powerful. Visualization is a command. Remember, it's a command to the subconscious mind. Okay. So, so what when you visualize, what are you doing? You're not visualizing a half-hearted thing. You are visualizing yourself performing at your best. You are visualizing that you're at that peak performance. Let us say it is some sport, as if you're performing that sport in the best possible way. You know, like you remember in one of the earlier sessions, we spoke of, I forget the name of this gymnast, okay, American gymnast, who kept visualizing for 10 years that she is in the Olympics and she's winning that gold medal. For 10 years, she kept visualizing. 10 years later, she achieved it. Okay. And a series of things started happening in the outside world. That means the law of attraction started working, and there are other things that started happening outside. The world's best coach for gymnastics landed up defected from Romania to US. Okay. And this girl started training with him, and she achieved that gold medal, okay, in Olympics. So I'm saying visualize yourself performing your best. So again, the subconscious mind organizes your behavior to make it consistent with the visualization. See, the subconscious mind is not able to make out whether an experience that you are giving to the mind is real or unreal. It is like you imagine that you're seeing a dream. The dream looks so real. Only when you wake up, you say, oh, it was a dream, right? So that way, for the subconscious mind, every visualization image that you give, okay, you even if you are showing visual images, even if you're shutting your eyes and imagining, the subconscious mind treats this as if it is real, because it is only the conscious mind which says, oh, this is all not real, it's bakwas, it's fake. That is why when we do this visualization process, we say that you relax yourself, just completely relax yourself, okay. And in a relaxed state, when you do, basically the subconscious mind is slightly distracted, and whatever instructions you give or whatever visualization you do goes into the subconscious. The filter of that conscious mind is taken away. So when the subconscious mind sees this visualization again and again, as if you are performing at your best, then it is reorganizing your behavior to make it consistent with that visualization, right? So in other words, visualization is like a seed, and the subconscious mind is like a garden. You just plant those seeds. Your visualization is the seeds that you're planting in your garden, and the subconscious mind will cultivate it and make it grow and bloom. So it grows the behavior that you're visualizing, the subconscious mind, right? So visualize yourself as positive and confident. Visualize yourself as successful and happy. That's why we again and again we are saying, don't keep thinking of what you do not want. Keep thinking of what you want. Focus on what you want. This is the reason, because the subconscious mind is taking those instructions literally, right? So please consciously make a decision and make your choices that you keep shifting your focus to what you want. Okay, so visualize yourself as positive and confident, as successful and happy, and practice this visualization over and over again. So when this repetition happens, the subconscious mind is seeing as if, oh, this person succeeded yesterday, and again today he's succeeding, because you are playing. It's like a movie that you're playing in the mind, saying that you have succeeded, you've done it. So the subconscious mind is seeing it as a repetition of success, and therefore the subconscious mind will try to create more of these successes in future. That is how this whole thing is working. Please understand that this whole game that we are playing is, we are trying to use the power of our subconscious mind. Okay. So please do not underestimate the power of this visualization. Of course, I'm not denying that you have to take action in the world, but you start with this visualization, you start with this inner change, and then take action in the outer world. The results will be much faster. So your image must be clear, vivid, and exciting. Clarity and vividness is very, very important, which is why, we have spoken about this vision board. I'll probably do one separate session on creating a vision board. So create vision boards for your goals. Okay. Yeah, this is a very beautiful story that Brian Tracy spoke about. One of his participants in his seminars. Okay. So that person, he and his wife, he is from Toronto. He was based in Toronto at that time. And Brian Tracy's seminar in Toronto, he had attended. And he had this vision of a dream house. So he and his wife, they kind of sat together and they said, oh, this is the kind of house that we want. These are the things that will be customized. This is how the view will be, whatever. And what they started doing is that this vision board, they started collecting pictures of how house would like to be. So they collected an image of my kitchen should look like this. My drawing room should look like that. All these pictures they started collecting and they made a nice book. And every week they will just go through that book. Both of them will sit together and go through that book. They are kind of replaying this in their mind, for their mind. Okay. Now, at some point, it so happened that they came across one particular house in one magazine, some particular interiors magazine, which was everything about that house was perfect. That means you imagine that this house had the perfect kitchen, had the perfect drawing room, had the perfect size, had the perfect view, had the perfect location. Okay, everything, location, of course, they didn't know where that house was, but everything was perfect about that house. So they said, wow, this is just the house that we want. So they took that whole thing, all those pictures of that house, added it to their book. Okay. Now, at some point, and this was going on, they were continuously every day going through this. So at some point, the husband, he got transferred to some place in the US. And when they got there, they said that, okay, I think we have to start looking for a house. So they told an agent and they gave them that, he told that agent the description of the house that they want. Okay. So that agent said that the kind of house that you're looking for is not available right now, but next week it is going to come up. Okay. You may want to come and check it out. So then the wife also flew in and they went and saw the house, and you will not believe it. It was the same house that was there in their book. That is the same perfect house was the house that they landed up in. Okay. And add to that, now they had to take a decision about buying it. There are so many of the, the requirements of the price, how, when they have to pay, everything just fell in place. And so they sold off their Toronto house and they bought this dream house of theirs, the perfect house, and that's where they stayed. The point I'm saying is the power of visualization. We cannot imagine how things will start aligning in the outside world because the law of attraction will start working. And of course, I don't have personal experience so much, but Brian Tracy, he keeps saying again and again and again of so many cases who have gone through his programs and who have applied these techniques and have found repeatedly, they have found success. So does it work? Yes, it does work. And what does it take to make this work? Just a piece of paper to start writing on, right? If you cannot start writing down your dreams and your goals with clarity, then perhaps you do not deserve them. I am again inviting you, start writing down your dreams and goals. Start writing them down. The next step, use affirmations. We have said, using positive statements, strong positive statements that you say to yourself and believe it also. It may not be true right now, but right now you are believing that this is it. So there is a certain way how this affirmation is. Okay. Remember that what you say to yourself, that is the self-talk that you are doing, are the most powerful words in your world. We do not realize this again. Just shut your eyes and think how much of talking we keep doing to ourselves. All this talking is actually taking effect in our life, which is why we are saying shift your focus to what you want, shift your focus to what is positive, stop thinking of what is negative, because all these are impacting your life. You become what you say to yourself. Okay. And when you say it over and over again, you are programming it deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind until it becomes a reality. So this is what they say, that, it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm saying that right now, whichever way life is, whatever may be happening, whatever has happened, you start making alternative choices from today. It does not matter whatever past has happened. Today you make a change. Today you start doing things differently. I'm inviting you to do this. Okay. What you say to yourself are very, very powerful words. So please be careful about what you're saying to yourself again and again, because it is programming deeper and deeper, and therefore it becomes a reality. So, in other words, if you choose to use it in a positive way, just think of it. No, you are just positive affirmations. The potential is unlimited. You can ask for anything fantastic in the world. There is no limit to what you can ask with positive affirmations. Right. So, how should the affirmation be? 3 P's. One, it must be personal. What is it must be personal. What does it mean? It always starts with I. We are not talking about somebody else. We are talking about ourselves. For example, I like myself. It's a personal affirmation, which is a very personal thing. You're talking about myself, right? Second, it must be positive. Okay. For example, you say, I am responsible. Okay. Think of whatever positive thing that you want to say for yourself, right? The third important point is that it must be in present tense. It's not a future statement that you make. Make it a present tense. That means I earn rupees 10 lakh per month. In our case, we are talking of the Black Diamond Ambassador income in this case. I earn. That means you're saying I personal earn, present tense, and it's a positive statement. And you're setting it as a clear, very clear 10 lakh per month. Very clearly you're stating it. So remember that when you're making an affirmation, it must be personal, that starts with an I, must be positive. Always use positive affirmations. Do not use negative affirmations. In other words, do not say, I do not want to be like this. Rather say, I want to be like this. You understand the difference. And we are not saying in future, it is in present tense. I am like this. I am very successful. I am very happy. Whatever it is, whatever is important for you. The affirmations must be simple and clear. Okay. Remember that the subconscious mind is like a child. Okay. Don't give it very complicated sentences to understand. It will not understand it. It will get confused. Right. The subconscious mind accepts commands literally. That means just as you say it, it will just accept, oh, this is what he's saying. It will not try to, analyze and say, oh, he may be meaning this. No, it will just accept it literally, whatever is being said. And therefore, first, affirmation must be positive, personal, and present tense. And second, the simpler the command, the easier it is for the subconscious to work. So make it very simple, short sentences. Okay. How simple should it be? Listen to this carefully. So simple that a 6-year-old child, if you tell this to a 6-year-old child, that 6-year-old child should know what your goal is. The 6-year-old child should be able to tell, will you achieve it or not achieve it? And the 6-year-old child should be able to tell another child, and that other child should also be able to understand it. How simple should it be? That simple it should be. Okay. Make it very, very simple statements. And remember, these statements that you make, if you are able to access it to your subconscious mind, they are commands. They will be acted upon. Please don't take it lightly. This is a very, very deeply well-researched topic. The whole world of self-hypnosis and auto-suggestion is based on these principles. Do not take them lightly. They are very, very powerful. We are unconsciously all along we are applying it in our life, and unfortunately in the negative way most of the time. And give clear dates, give clear numbers. I will achieve this particular goal by this date. Okay, let the date be clear. Let what is your ultimate aim, let it be clear. Don't make it vague, because that is how the subconscious mind will understand it. The next step that Brian Tracy is saying is verbalize it. One is that you have created the affirmation in your mind. Second is speak it aloud. So, of course, please do not speak it aloud in the public street. Okay, people will think something is wrong with you. Okay, don't start speaking out your affirmation on the road. But when you are in private, say you're in your room by yourself, you're in front of a mirror, you can speak your affirmation aloud. Look at this. The impact of your affirmation can increase by 80% just by saying it aloud. That is the power of speaking it aloud. Okay. So please do not again underestimate this. This is the power of speaking aloud. You could just stand in front of a mirror and say them aloud. I like myself. I can do it. I feel terrific. Yeah. And assume the role, like you said, like we said, no, that book where the inner game of tennis, that you pretend that you are already that tennis player, the top tennis player. So assume that role. Act as if you are already the person that you wish to be. Act as if you are already a millionaire. If finance is where you are headed, act as if you are already a millionaire. For example, this is a beautiful example that Brian Tracy gave. I have written the context of Indus Viva in this for our context. Let us suppose we are doing an Indus Viva invitation, or let us say suppose we are making a presentation, or we are following up for the business. Okay, you imagine that you are already a millionaire who's doing it. That means you're already the millionaire, and right now you are doing it because there is a friend of yours for whom you are helping, and for him you are just going and doing this invitation. You are going and making a presentation because you just like to go out and meet people, but you are already a millionaire. So in other words, whether your lead buys or does not buy, you are a millionaire already, so it does not matter to you. That means it will take the desperation out of your tone. See, many times what happens is that when we are trying to close a discussion, or we are trying to convince somebody and we want to convince them and make them a part of the business, or we want to offer the product to them, somewhere we tend to get desperate because we are trying again and again and we are not seeing results, right? So if we take up this particular attitude, it's a very beautiful way to be, that I am already there, I am just doing it because my friend wants it, I'm helping my friend, right? It takes the desperation out of the tone. And remember that your lead is more likely to buy from you if you are more relaxed. Just remember this. If the other person experiences that there is tension, then people can sense this, then they will also have their defenses up. So if you are more relaxed, anyway, the chances are that they will take the decision in your favor. Okay. So remember that there is something called the law of reversibility. See, here we are trying to apply something. See, whatever feelings are there, okay, this is the way it normally works. That we feel, let us say you are feeling very low today. Okay. The actions that you do will reflect that feeling low. Whatever you do will be in the way that, okay, yeah, somebody looking at it will say, obviously he's something is wrong with you, right? So our feelings get translated into actions. But here's the interesting thing. Actions can get converted into feelings also. It works reverse also. In other words, you can act your way into feeling things. Right now, you may not feel on the top of the world, but you just act as if. It's like, they say, fake it till you make it. Right? You act as if you're already there. You act as if you're already, feeling fantastic. Pretend that you have the quality already. Okay. Just doing this, within minutes, you will start feeling that quality inside of you. Okay. This is something that they call the law of reversibility. Act enthusiastic, and very soon you will also be enthusiastic. So in other words, right now, if you're not experiencing enthusiasm in whatever you're doing, let us say you're going and talking to somebody about the business opportunity or inviting or whatever, you're not experiencing that. I'm saying just start acting. You don't have to necessarily be feeling it, but act it out. And very soon the feeling will follow. Fake it until you make it. So this is the summary. The 4 keys to rapid personality change. What Brian Tracy calls the VA-VA formula. One, as we said, visualize, right? See yourself exactly as you want to be. Visualize it right now in present tense, as if it's true today. They say, greater the clarity, the faster it will become real. Okay. Again, that's why I'm saying make it as clear as possible to you. Make it more and more clear, because the more the clarity it is, the faster it will become real. Second, affirm. We said affirmation. Make the statement so clear that even a child will understand, because we are giving the child inside of us, the subconscious mind, we are giving instructions to the child. The subconscious mind is very, very literal. So make it so simple that the child will understand. Third, we said verbalize. Okay. Look at the mirror, smile, and say it aloud. The affirmation, and assume the role. Right now, you already assume that I am that. I'm already there. Fake it until you make it. So I'm inviting you to start applying this VAVA formula in your life. Okay. And you will be surprised to see how your whole self concept, whatever you have, whatever you're thinking of yourself, this is how I am, you will suddenly start seeing that it will start changing. Okay. Your self esteem will definitely start shooting up. Okay. So assuming this role, you are using this law of reversibility. Fake it until you make it. So that was the session for today. I hope this was very interesting, very exciting.